Hey guys, so welcome to my channel today. Today I'm actually filming a makeup tutorial on my best friend, who is also my mom.
Hi.
So this is my mom, and Mom, do you want to share how old you are?
Sure, I am now 53.
Yeah, isn't she beautiful? So I
Thank you.
just did her makeup, and it's super fun. I love doing her makeup because not only is it a little bit different from what I'm used to, I love seeing her face when she's all done up, and it's just like such a great experience for me, and I think she likes it.
I do.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay, good.
Feel good and like a princess.
Awesome. So yeah, stay tuned. There's going to be a couple of things and tips and tricks on how to work with mature skin. It's something that I do a lot of with because working with the weddings and stuff, you do a lot of makeup for mom of the bride, mom of the groom, sometimes great grandma, 98-year-old great grandma comes and sits in your chair and you don't really know what to do. So stay tuned. I'm going to be showing you all of my tips and tricks on working with mature skin and hyperpigmentation, sensitive eyes, all that good stuff. So yeah, please stay tuned and enjoy. Awesome.
Bye.
So this is the Body Shop Oils of Life Facial Revitalizing Oil. I'm just applying it right to my mom's skin after it's been cleansed and toned. One thing with mature skin that I found, you really need to worry about skin prep more than you usually do. Because when the skin loses its youthfulness, it tends to kind of go more dry. So you want to make sure you have like a good facial serum, something that's really going to penetrate the skin. Next we're going in with just some eyeshadow primer, and I'm going to lightly apply that to the eyelids. And while I'm letting that set, I'm going to go ahead and start correcting the hyperpigmentation. So I'm using the Face Atelier Erase. So basically you have your mango color and your white. And I'm just going to custom mix my own color corrector for the melasma or hyperpigmentation. I'm just going to apply it right to the dark spots where the color correction needs the most work. Now, when working with color correction, I'm not really going in with a green or anything like that. I'm actually going with like a salmon-y mango color because I'm actually putting blood back into the skin. When you're looking at hyperpigmentation or darkness, like dark circles, anything like that, you're basically thinking about putting the blood back into the skin. That skin is darkened, so it has a lot of blue into it, which can read dead. So thinking about putting that blood color is really going to help with that and correcting it properly. So I'm just going to apply it to all these dark areas, and I'm going to apply it very lightly. You don't need a whole lot with this, and you don't want it to read cakey. So you want to apply it very light because your foundation is going to go over top of it. I'm also using my finger to help really press that makeup into the skin so it emulates skin texture and doesn't sit just on top. That's also going to allow me to take off the excess with the pad of my finger. You can see how the Face Atelier is doing a great job at the color correcting without making it look like she's got some outlandish color on her skin. And that's because that mango color emulates blood. And like I said, that's very important to think about when you're covering dark circles and hyperpigmentation. Now we're going in with the Face Atelier number 7 for foundation. Now I do love Face Atelier for foundation because it has is a dewy foundation, has a dewy finish to it. It's really great for HD television, it's great for weddings, it's one of my favorites, and that's what I've actually got my mom using every day now because it does have a lot of pigment to it already, but with the concealer underneath, it really helps fight that hyperpigmentation, especially in the summer months when the pigmentation darkens. Now I've just applied it to kind of the T-zone area, and I'm blending it out lightly with a blender brush in circular motions, going lightly over where I've color corrected. I want to make sure that I don't take it off or blend it out too much. It's very important to think about that when you are applying a concealer underneath your foundation. But you can see how it's already taken away all the hyperpigmentation and it's leaving her with a nice glowy, dewy finish. And now there's just some extra hyperpigmentation on the other side of the face that I'm going to go in and just kind of pat the extra foundation down to create a little more concealer effect on there. It's a little darker on the cheekbones because that's where the sun kind of hits the most. And also I'm going to use my ring finger to apply some foundation right under the eye. I use my ring finger for this because it applies the least amount of pressure. But also, like I said, using the pad of your finger for these sorts of things, you're taking off excess makeup as well as kind of pushing it and massaging into the skin to emulate more skin texture, right? And underneath the eye, that's really important because that tends to be one of the most texturized areas on our face no matter how old we are. And so now, after finishing that, I'm going to go in with the Face Atelier Translucent Setting Powder with a big dome powder brush. And I'm just going to lightly set that face, not necessarily to matte out the makeup because I want to make sure I keep that dewy finish, but I want to set it so I can apply bronzer and blush without smudging the foundation. So lightly just patting that into the areas that I'm going to be working on. And yeah, thinking about not so much as matting as mostly just setting and making sure I can build up on the coverage. So the next step is I'm going to go with a little bronzer. Now this is just from like a Nars Guy Bourdain palette, but that I've had forever. As you can tell, it's well loved. And I'm just going to go in and kind of contour the face with the bronzer. So basically just under the cheekbones, under the jaw, I'm just going to put a little more color into the face. My mom is very dark toned, so adding a little bit of a warm bronzer really warms her up and gives her a youthful glow, which I like to make sure that she's always got on. And also we're going to go with the Anastasia. This is the Radiance Blush Kit. I'm just going to go with the darkest one there. And I'm going to just apply it to the highest point of the cheekbone and go right into the temples. Now this has got a tiny bit of shimmer into it, so it is going to add more youthful glow to her. And just a little more color. So I'm just going to lightly blend out that blush, and then the next step is that after the colors are all blended in, you want to go in with some sort of highlighter. And I like to do a highlighter that's not very glittery, kind of more just shimmery, and something that's not white. You're going to go to like an off tan color or something because she is so dark. So I'm going to go in with this one here. It's in my Z palette. I'm just going to lightly frost the upper cheekbones there and bring it down into the cheek, and that's going to give this kind of fullness look to the cheek. And I'm going to blend it out nice and light. Something that this will do is actually lifts the features as well. You want to think about focusing on lifting the features on anybody with mature skin, especially since people tend to find that they sink down. The next step, I'm going to take my Kat Von D palette and I'm just going to go into the crease of the eye with a tan color. And now my mom's got iritis. That's sort of a thing that basically you can get cold sores or something like a cold sore in the eye, like an eye infection. And it's very bad because you can actually go blind from it. So when working with somebody with sensitive eyes and they're prone to these sorts of things, you have to touch the eye as minimal as possible. So no eyeliner, nothing with a sharp object. I'm going in with a nice highlighter now, right under the brow bone, and then I'm going to tap that right onto the lid after as well. So going back to the iritis, you want to make sure that you're touching the eye as little as possible because not only will it create watering, it can actually create an infection just by touching it and really irritating the eye. So definitely think about that when you're working with somebody with mature skin because they might have these problems that we never really think about when we're working with people who are in their 20s or 30s or even 40s. So just going to kind of highlight the lid. I'm just dusting it. I'm not applying a lot of pressure. And then I'm going to highlight the under eye with the eyeshadow, just taking the warm brown mixed with the highlighter color. And that's just going to finish off the under eye. I'm going to take the dark brown with the light brush, and now instead of doing eyeliner, I'm actually just going to smoke out a nice like brown there. Because like I said, I'm not going to take anything sharp or that's going to pull her eye too much because she is so sensitive. I don't want to risk her getting an infection. So that's something I just really want you guys to take away from this, that sometimes there's different skin conditions or eye conditions that you get when you're older that you need to work accordingly around. It's really important to think about that. I'm just taking a blender brush and just smoking that out ever so slightly. And as you can tell, I'm really being light-handed with the eyes. I do not want to have anything bad happen to her. Also, when working under the eyes, I'm just lightly applying a little bit of that brown shadow underneath and leaving it as is. I'm not going to fuss with it too much. Her eyebrows have been microbladed, so I actually don't have to go in and do anything with them. I just have to make sure I stay clear and try not to get much powder on them. So again, smoking out the under eye, and then I told her to bring her own mascara because it's mascara that she is definitely not allergic to, and because her eyelashes and her eyes are so sensitive, I'm not even going to bother trying to curl them, because if I do anything bad, like pull on them for whatever reason, she might in fact get an eye infection, and this is really like a big no-no. I can't stress that enough. When somebody has these sorts of issues, having an eye infection can really be bad. So I'm going in with Kat Von D's Hawkwind Everlasting Liner. Something you can think about is because you can't play out the eyes too much with somebody with mature skin, because say they are really sensitive, you can actually play out their lip color. So I'm going in with this like kind of tawny brown, and then I'm going to apply a lip color on top of that. This is going to make sure there's no bleeding. There's nothing worse than having somebody with like bleeding lipstick everywhere. So as you can tell, she starts to get pretty goofy and pretty happy when she likes what she sees. So we're going to go with this Dusty Rose from like the Wet n Wild collection. I'm just going to apply that right on top for her. And yeah, we're starting to come together, but playing up that lip color, you really don't have to play up the eyes too much. And we're done. I think she's feeling pretty happy. She's starting to smile. Always such a pleasure working with such a beautiful face. And now I can see that the confidence is really starting to radiate out of her, which is when I know I've done a good job. So thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me and my mom and watching how I like to do her makeup. And if you guys have any comments or questions about the products I use, please post them down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe, because I love seeing you guys subscribe. I like knowing that you guys like what I'm posting. And yeah, so have a great day, and thanks for hanging out. So
Bye.